A high school diploma is the gateway to a better life in our society, and this past June, the percentage of CMS students achieving that goal of graduating increased from 76% to 81%. Now that's a step in the right direction that deserves some close inspection, and the right person to provide that insight is Dr. Ann Clark, the Deputy Superintendent of Charlotte-Mecklenburg Schools. Dr. Clark, thanks so much for joining us.
Delighted to be here.
That's a big number. How did CMS achieve that?
I think it is a big number, and crossing the threshold of 80% of our graduates graduating with their class in 4 years was a huge milestone. But I think it's the accumulation of 4 to 5 years of work in the district where we've been making that kind of 3 and 4% growth year over year. And so certainly we want to celebrate for one day only, crossing that milestone, and we're all about in this coming school year moving that number forward. It's certainly unacceptable to have 19% of our graduating class not graduating with their cohort in the 4-year time span.
Now, when we look at the class of 2009 that came in and graduated 2013, their requirements were a little bit different. Talk about that, the number of credits needed to graduate prior and what we're looking at now.
You're absolutely correct. The class of 2013 was the first graduating class to graduate under the new graduation requirements our board put in place in 2008 to begin with the incoming freshman class in 2009. And during that time, across our country, there were districts and the nation were really looking at how we could change the quality of the senior year experience in our high schools, knowing that many of our students were taking courses that were not particularly relevant, that were engaging to those students, were meaningful in terms of their life plan beyond high school. So as a part of our district strategic plan, we looked at how we could change the senior year experience for our students, and that included looking at study abroad, increasing the apprenticeships and internship opportunities for our students, allowing students to graduate early, increasing the number of students who had access to Central Piedmont that could actually be taking college level courses that counted to fulfill high school graduation requirements, but also put those students on a pathway to earn an associate's degree. So it was a combination of looking at the kinds of experiences that we could offer our seniors.
And if I could just real quick say about that decision, and we've seen a lot of students accessing those options, and that's, again, the enhancing the senior year. When anybody says, well, what about the drop in credits? Our students that just graduated still graduated with more credits than required by the state.
Which is?
24. Okay, and then also our students that just graduated, the core requirements didn't change. So the math, science, social studies didn't change. As a matter of fact, math got a little harder, and so it was really looking at the electives and then deciding and the vast majority of students that graduated in our graduating class, the vast majority graduated with far more than the 28 credits in the original pathway. So students, when we say every child, every day for a better tomorrow, every child has a different pathway. And for some it will be to take more than 24 or more than 28 credits. For others it will be to take the pathway that Ann just talked about, Dr. Clark.
Now what about, get us straight with the numbers. 28 credits is what students graduate with now.
Well, 28 was what the class of 2012 graduated with.
And now we're down
to 24, and the state requires 22.
So when we're looking at that, some people, and I think you're clarifying this, but I want to make sure that we get to this point, is that, well, you brought the number of credits down, so it's not as difficult. You bring the bar down, it's easier to reach. How do you address people who say something like that?
Well, let's put a number as we answer that question. 81% of the class of 2013 graduated with 28 or more credits. Okay. So they had either the amount from the previous year or more. And 75% of the class of 2013 graduated with 32 or more credits. Okay. So in reality, we haven't seen a huge shift in the percentage of students that are just hitting the minimum requirement. It's exactly what I was talking about earlier in terms of students availing themselves of a great partnership we have with Central Piedmont and taking those dual credit courses. In fact, if you look at the difference between last school year and the previous year, the number of courses our students were taking at Central Piedmont jumped 59%. So those numbers match. The number of courses our students are taking are staying 28 or higher for 75% or more of our class, And at the same time, we're seeing an increase at Central Piedmont, which is exactly what we wanted to have happen. If we're really serious about having a college-ready student, then creating opportunities while they're in high school to get that college experience while they've got the support of their high school and the support of their family structure is a great way to ensure those students have greater success in earning a college degree, ultimately.
So when we look at the opportunities that students are getting for their senior year to do different things, are we considering that some students will take that college path, other students may not? Is it offering enough variety for those students who may or may not take the 4-year degree and then a master's and a doctorate? Others are going to local colleges and getting associate's degrees, or even going directly to the workplace.
Right. I think exactly that group that you just mentioned, in terms of those that want to leave high school and go directly into a job, our career technical education pathway offers many opportunities for our students. But if you couple that with an ability to go on and earn a certificate in that trade or industry while you're still in high school, then many of our students are graduating with certificates and licenses in particular trade areas, whether it's technology or construction industry. So we're positioning our students to be ready for that job. And so I think changing what a senior year looks like has really offered opportunities for all of our students to meet their needs. Some may want to take a year off between high school and college. They may want to avail themselves of the study abroad opportunities or travel during a semester and come back for the second semester of their high school year. We have created a flexible opportunity for our seniors to really design a different senior year than was in place when I was a high school principal in the district in 1997.
Let's go back to the core classes that students still have to take. We're not getting less credits for reading, math,
science. So
science.
No, it's the same. The core requirements didn't change. It was really just going from 28 to 24, so it was fewer elective classes. And the other part too, I think, to the original part of your question, it's a national graduation rate, a national graduation formula, so you can compare North Carolina to other states, Charlotte-Mecklenburg schools to other districts. And those data are verified by the State Department of Public Instruction. So we actually don't release our graduation data until it's verified. The psychometricians call it scrubbing the data and verifying it. So we are excited about the progress, but we know that there's more work to be done.
Any schools we can congratulate or that you're exceptionally proud of that we could talk about and mention?
Oh yeah.
We had some very exciting results this year. At the top of the list has to be West Charlotte High School with almost a 15% increase in their graduation cohort rate, followed very closely by West Mecklenburg High School with a 9 to 10% increase. Also, Hopewell High School and North Mecklenburg High School had a 7 to 8% increase. So we saw tremendous gains across our county, and it has motivated us to redouble our efforts, be even more intentional about our focus on examining every single transcript and every single senior schedule. That's now a standard protocol every spring and into the summer, that we literally touch every senior's transcript and map that to their schedule that's currently in the computer. If need be, we look at their individual education plan. If they're an exceptional student, if they're an English language learner, we make sure that that schedule and that transcript are moving on a pathway for that student to graduate with their class.
Okay. We talked about that. We got to talk about the other 19% that may not have quite made it. What do we do with them?
Well, I think there's two things. So first of all, we got to look at the 90% that didn't make it, and then we also have to make sure that we continue to raise the rigor and standards for ensuring that when students get that diploma, that they're ready for what comes next. College without remediation, highly skilled career, and so that's part of our evolving strategic plan, is to make sure that the diploma really will prepare our students for what comes next, life after graduation. For the 19%, we have a number of different initiatives, programs. We have an initiative called Door to Door, where we go back out to students that have not come back to school, encourage them to come back, get their credits, get their diploma. Our schools right now have different plans. Ann spoke about the transcript review, credit recovery opportunities. So it's really about creating a personalized plan for every student to make sure that we do graduate every student, but also the diploma is a passport for a better tomorrow.
Okay, all right. And thank you, Dr. Clark, so much for joining us.
Thank you. Enjoyed being here.
Thank you. More insight to come. CMS makes its case to build more schools, but the decision to spend the money is made this November at the ballot box by you. Stay tuned for details.